Strategy with Sally, and today we're talking about procrastination, and we're going to tackle how you can overcome this challenge that will help to enhance your marketing efforts, grow your email list, and inevitably get out there so you can help lots of people in that big, bright, beautiful world with your inner sparkle. So hang on in as we do the countdown into our weekly live of Strategy with Sally. So lovely to have you here. Today we're talking about procrastination and how it can be affecting your marketing strategies to grow your email list. Today's training is for you if you're a coach, if you're a speaker, if you're an author or a course creator, and you've got a passion for sharing your inner sparkle with the world, but you feel overwhelmed when it comes to growing your email list. Or maybe it's for you if you find yourself constantly delaying the creation of your marketing content, waiting for the perfect moment that never seems to come. Come on, let's get honest now. Are you growing that email list? If you've got a course, you can't sell a secret. This is also for you if you've ever been stuck in that planning mode. You're endlessly researching, brainstorming different ways to engage your audience, but you very rarely do take action. But this is not for you if you're looking for a quick fix. I promise you, I don't bullshit. I will tell you that it will take work on your part, but once it's done, it's done. And this is not for you if you're completely satisfied with your current marketing email strategy, its performance, and you're not looking to scale or make any improvements in what you're currently doing. You see, procrastination is a common barrier that especially when it comes to the world of email marketing, many of you as coaches, speakers, authors, and course creators, you might often find yourself really delaying this essential task, right? I'll do it later. I've got to finish the course first, all the things. But a lack of tech, a lack of a clear strategy, and simply just that overwhelming feeling of where to begin is probably why a lot of you are holding back from growing that email list. Let me know in the chat. Is that you? Well, that's why I've decided I've spent a long time putting this presentation together for you so that I can help you overcome the hurdles when it comes to growing your email list and getting out of procrastination or perfectionism and just getting that shit done. Today, I'm going to share with you some tips along with our email growth made easy method. And it will be a roadmap that will help you to overcome procrastination and just GSD that stuff. So today you're going to learn how to understand how procrastinating is actually affecting your marketing, and it hinders your efforts when it comes to growing your business, and also how the power of a marketing email list will affect your bank account. And also you will learn the secret to scaling your online business so that you can have more freedom, more lifestyle, and just really be able to do the things that you are good at. So are you in? Yes? You ready to rock and roll? Well, I've been binging a bit of this lately, and I thought, who likes Friends? Okay, it's my guilty pleasure at the moment, and I love Friends. And one of my business buddies, her daughter's like crazy into Friends. She does the Janet voice, amazing. But for everyone out there, who would be your favorite Friends character? Let me know in the chat. Okay, so my favorite Friends character is Phoebe, right? She's always fun. She's a little crazy. She's got a fun-loving personality. I swear, if I was born in another life, sometimes I think maybe I'd be a little Phoebe. But I want to ask you, who's up for a friendly competition? Okay, I've got a couple of avatars I'm going to share with you today. And let's say Phoebe was going to give $50,000 to the first entrepreneur to attract and grow their email list to 1,000. And you've got two people to pick from. So first off, we have Penny. I like to call her Penny the procrastinator. Now, she's somebody who dreams of having a successful business, but she always feels busy but never seems to get anywhere. She's constantly procrastinating on what she should do next, and she just can't decide. Does that sound like you? Or always creating content without actually having a plan or a strategy in place that works. So essentially, procrastination Penny, she's throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping something sticks. Now, the other person I have is Mia. Now, Mia doesn't just get busy, right? She actually stops, slows down to then move forward, and she maps out a strategy plan. She focuses on streamlining her systems, her follow-ups, and also just making sure no beautiful email, which is a human, falls through the cracks. And she prioritizes marketing over chasing shiny balls and just making more and more content. Which of the two do you think would get to 1,000 emails faster? It's pretty obvious, right? Here's the thing. Would it be Mia or would it be Penny? Pop it in the chat. Who would get to the 1,000 faster? You see, here's the thing. You have an option in your business. Every day you can choose when you wake up, when you show up. Are you going to be a Penny or are you going to be a Mia? Am I going to procrastinate or am I going to be a little bit of a money magnet and focus on my marketing? What would you choose? You know, it's easy to sit in perfectionism and procrastination, spending more time thinking about things rather than, doing, putting a strategy in place. However, choosing the Mia path might be uncomfortable, but it might be unfamiliar. But that is the path to success. And I want you all to know which one you should choose, right? Strategy first. Strategy first. So if we haven't yet met, I'm Sally. I help the Pennies of the world become the Mias of the world. I created the email list growth strategy to help online entrepreneurs to consistently grow their email list without all the tech setup, overwhelm, and confusion. And here's the thing. I used to be a Penny. I was. I would spend my days dreaming, how could I just get to multiple six figures in my business? I really wanted to hire a team and a staff so I could take off some of these hats and I could finally get more freedom and lifestyle. I would spend hours upon hours upon hours every day creating content and dreaming of a successful business, but without a plan. And I would do all of these great things, procrastinate, make excuses, because it was fun. It was easy to create content, right? Rather than thinking about strategy. But this is what happens when you get stuck in procrastination. You see, it begins with overwhelm and avoidance. So this is the initial stage. And these are when you feel overwhelmed by the task of building that email list. This might be perceived as maybe too complex, too time-consuming, and this overwhelming feeling leads to avoidance. And we start putting tasks together and then often convincing ourselves that we'll do it tomorrow, right? Or we might feel more prepared tomorrow. So let's wait until then. That's when we move into the next stage, which is distraction and busy work. Now, this is to justify the procrastination, the decision for not getting that shit done. And we tend to focus on less important tasks or other distractions. Now, this might be a focus on other aspects of your business, like making pretty graphics, right? Or let's make another video. Or, hey, let's put another ebook together. And also this could include maybe administrative tasks or, excessive planning or really unrelated activities that actually don't take you anywhere, like getting stuck in the scroll. Feel familiar? Now, then what happens is you go into rationalization, and excuse making. So at this stage, we've now gotten really busy doing all the shiny things, but we start to then rationalize our lack of progress, right? We're waiting and making excuses for not coming together and making that lead magnet, not building the funnel, not doing the emails, not following up with the clients. Because you know what? You might think, hey, I don't have the right tools, so I can't do it. I don't get social media, right? These just serve as justifications. And it serves to alleviate your guilt for not actually doing the thing, not growing your email list. And then eventually you'll move into anxiety and guilt. And eventually, as time passes, without any progress in your business growth, and the money's in the list, the individual starts to feel anxious and guilty. And this is when you start to get emotional responses coming up, like you've missed the opportunity. I should have realized I should have done it before. And ultimately, this anxiety takes us back into the first stage of overwhelm. And then the cycle continues. So breaking free from this cycle is actually a conscious effort, and it requires strategy. So what you'll need to do is start with small, little, manageable tasks. Focus on one task at a time. Then seek support and guidance, and using all the tools and resources that you have that can simplify the process. So addressing and acknowledging which stage you're in is the first part, and the next is choosing to not stay in that hamster wheel. So what stage are you at? Let me know in the chat. You in stage 1, 2, 3, or 4? Or are you good? All right, so let's go on to here. See, this is when you continue to not grow your email list, right? It really is an unsustainable way to grow your business, right? This was me in my penny days. I would feel so much anxiety and guilt that I just want to blame the tech. Must be the tech, right? But constantly making improvements is what it's about. You need to decide to GSD to get that shit done. So I don't want you to constantly be making content without a strategy. You have to have a strategy, or it really is an inconsistent way to run your business. And the reason for it is you get clients, right? A client comes in and then you get busy with the client. And a lot of people stop marketing at this point. And when they stop marketing, they serve the client served, and they're back to stage 1 again because they haven't been consistently growing their email list in the background, letting the tech and automation look after and serve those people who are not yet ready to be a client. And if you continue to feast and famine, you will get where I got to, which was burnout. And I literally nearly quit everything. You see, back in the year 2019, I had a massive breakdown. I suffered from really severe burnout, and I even ended up in couples therapy with my husband. I needed to take a whole 2 months off my business, and I nearly gave up on my dream. I realized that what I was currently doing, it wasn't going to work. I didn't want to miss out on helping my daughter. She was actually back then transitioning into her teenage years. She's just recently graduated from high school and has just started university. But she needed more time with me. And I love my husband, and we were fighting so much because I was always busy doing busy work. I mean, the reason why I started the business in the first place was to free up time, right? Isn't that what you're after? You see, I was getting pulled in so many directions that I just got overwhelmed, frustrated, and literally the brain neurons stopped firing correctly, and I seriously hit rock bottom. I couldn't think any longer, and I spent 2 months watching TV, right? 1 or 2 Netflix days, not so bad. But if it turns into weeks and then months, it is no longer serving you. So the most important thing I want you to realize here is you want to ensure that what you do with your time is quality activities, income producing activities, and we'll get more into that soon. Hang on in, because I'm going to share with you a method on how to choose what to do. But when you have busy work, it equals burnout. So after 2 months, I did a lot of soul searching, and I decided I wasn't going to give up on my business. I did say, give me 5 years when I started, and I was 2 years in at that stage. And I'm like, okay, I've got to do this. So what I did was I started to look at my entire business model before I even stepped back in, and I had to slow down to speed up. I also noticed I had lots and lots of software. I'm a bit of a tech nerd. I love subscribing to software, looking for the next U-Butte thing. But I had so much software that wasn't being utilized to its fullest potential. And I knew that if I wanted to save time, I also had to set up automation. But everything felt so overwhelming. There were so many choices out there. You know, who do you listen to? You know, one guru tells you to use this piece of tech and another one tells you to use another. And, you know, all of a sudden you've got 50 things to choose from. And wasn't my life meant to get easier? So all I wanted to do was make a simple system. So what I did, and I'll be totally honest with you, because I am a tech junkie, it was very hard for me to do. But I started to look at everything that I had, right? And I started to think, what do I actually need? Are you that person who seems to jump from shiny thing to shiny thing? Yeah, chasing those new shiny balls, or the promise of an easier way to grow your business. And there are so many choices out there. So what I realized I had to do was I had to choose simple software, but so I could build it once and be done. But once I built it, I have to turn it on, right? I can simplify the systems, but then I also needed to make sure it was easy to use, it was replicatable once it was working, so that I could then, you know, eventually get a team and then just be able to teach them how to actually use the system. So what I did was an audit on all of my software, and I finally got down to 4 pieces of software. Now, you cannot grow a business in one piece of software. You do need a few. But this was the moment that I really got to the point where I'm like, I finally got it. I have the beating heart of my business. I have my core 4 pieces of software, and I ran and scaled my business to 6 figures plus before adding on extra stuff. And it really is just sparkly bells and whistles that I added on. And I just focused on list growth, right? Getting those beautiful humans onto my email list. And that is when the List Growth Made Easy method was born. Not only now have I used this method to help over 1,600 clients to grow their email list, but also it saved my marriage. I was able to work a little less, right? I now have a team of 9 amazing people, and my email list is growing every single day while I sleep. People are booking appointments to talk with me while I sleep, right? How much easier is that? I finally designed my ideal business, and it didn't require me to constantly be chasing people because the automation took care of business for me. You see, my dad, he's always telling me, work harder. If you're not working 110%, you're not trying hard enough. Well, to me, that's a very old-fashioned way. Society has molded us to believe that you must do a 40-hour week in order to achieve success. But if you want to, say you've got a side hustle and you're currently doing a 9 to 5 job, maybe you've already got demanding clients and children. You just need things to be easier. So what I'm going to share with you now is a foolproof system that will require less time and knowledge, and the tech will work for you. And if I can do it, you can too. You see, I was making 3 major mistakes that kept keeping me stuck. The first mistake was I was overcomplicating the process. I was thinking that I needed to have all the things, right? That I need to spend lots of time researching all the tools. I need to find as many different tactics and strategies as possible. And I really got bogged down in all the minute details of list segmentation and email design, and just really just giving myself more busy work. And while all of these elements are really important, you don't want to overcomplicate the process because it will lead to analysis paralysis. Do you suffer from that one? Right? So here's what I want you to start to think about. You have this amazing idea, right? You have this brilliant idea and you want to help people. Let me know in the chat, who is it that you want to help? Right? You want to transform lives, right? So what you're doing probably right now, and let me know if this is true, rather than having one bridge, you are spreading yourself thin and you're building multiple bridges. Who's doing multiple things and just losing lots of time? When you try to spread yourself across many bridges, you end up having lots of half-built bridges, and you just never seem to be able to get to that goal. Who feels like they're doing this? Let me know in the chat. Now, let's be honest. How many bridges are you currently building? Go on, get those tippy-tap fingers out and let's be honest. Now, I want to teach you something that's going to save you so much time. It's called context shifting. Okay, so, we're doing busy work, building multiple things, but not actually getting any results. So you see, if you're building one bridge, you would be able to give that bridge 100% of your time. But if you're building multiple bridges, you can see at 2, because you're running between bridges, you're trying to remember where you left off. The more complicated the process is when you leave it and come back to it, the harder it is to remember where you left off. So if you were building 3 bridges, only 20% of your time is actually productive on each bridge, and you're losing 40% in context shifting. All the way down to if you've got 5 different bridges being built, each bridge will only get 5% of your available time, and you will lose 75% in context shifting. Now, if we think about that in an 8-hour day, that's only 2 productive hours in a day. We do a lot of focus sessions where we just sit and focus inside our community. We turn off all distractions and we focus on one thing. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to start to think of what's the one thing I can do that will help me create that business that I want. If you're building a bridge, think about it. You nail in a hammer, you nail in a nail, right? In the first few planks, you might not quite be able to do it really well, or the wood falls off, or you bend the nail. But as you continue to build out that bridge, you get faster and you get better at it. And eventually you'll get to the other side. And you see, this is what a lot of entrepreneurs miss out on, is actually finishing a bridge or a marketing funnel, okay? When it's completed, you can get to the other side and you can look back at it and actually see what you've achieved. Learn from your mistakes. Figure out how you can do better and stop for a minute and just celebrate the fact that you have finished that marketing funnel, right? And then people are starting to walk across it. Now, with a bit of time, you can then go and build another one, but you want to make sure that that bridge has a great flow of traffic that's converting before you go and build another one. You see, the harder you work, the more stuff you make, that doesn't mean more money, right? You can work way less and still have success. You know, if we keep building all these bridges, what happens? Right? You will always be stuck in building mode and you'll never be able to move to growth and scaling. So let's build one bridge and let's make it work. Now, the second mistake that I made, and I hinted on this before, was I was overwhelmed by all the tech choices. Who feels this way? You know, let me know in the chat. Who feels this way? You're overwhelmed by all the tech choices and you're trying to find the cheapest, easiest solution in the platform that you want to choose. You're trying to decide on the lead magnet, how you're going to build the funnel, how can you optimize the landing pages. I mean, there is just a huge amount of choice out there. And procrastinators often spend so much time researching and comparing every available option that they never actually get to the good stuff, the IPAs, the income producing activities. So the solution to simplify this decision-making process for you and focus on the most essential features is what you need to truly move forward. Now, you might be thinking, hey, I just want to get cheap software for now. Your business, your choice. But I want to give you my view after doing this for many years and building funnels for people. There are two ways you can build your list growth machine, okay? You can go the cheap way, right? The little beetle bomb here, or you could go the Tesla way. So let me show you what the beetle bomb way is. So if you're trying to save money, here's what happens. You get the beetle bomb, you pay for it, cool, it's cheap. But then eventually something goes wrong and you have to replace a bit, right? And now you're looking at more shiny balls to try and fix that old bomb. And you want to make it a little bit more sparkly. So, of course, you add that cute purple door, but it's inevitable that something else will happen and maybe you grow out of the software. And now you're back into research mode, trying to figure out how we can make it better. And something else shiny comes along. You waste loads of time and money trying to figure it out again. And you end up with a very colorful car, that's for sure. But it's still an old clunker under the hood. And you spend more time trying to work it out and fix it and piecemeal everything together that you just never seem to get anywhere. So, how do you know if you're driving one of those beetle bombs for your marketing strategy? Well, first off, if you believe that creating your list growth machine is hard and time consuming and generating a consistent flow of leads is hard, then you just might have a beetle bomb. Or secondly, you might think that your marketing system involves way too much tech and added monthly expense. Or maybe your flow of leads are just not consistent and you're letting lots of them fall through the cracks. And you can't trust that all the referrals that are coming in will continue coming. So you need a better system. So let me introduce you to the autopilot Tesla way. Right? This is an automated list growth made easy system, which we'll go over very soon. But what this is actually setting up your sales and marketing system to create consistent leads using the Tesla way so that everything fits together, just like a jigsaw puzzle, right? You get set up with simple programs, but also programs that you will not outgrow. Okay, so basically the 4 pieces that you can eliminate all the other stuff, right? Keep it simple, but also have software that you will not outgrow. You know, all the pieces fit together and work well, like a well-oiled machine. So when you have the list growth made easy method, the instructions of how to put this together in a marketing funnel will avoid distractions. It will stop you from procrastinating because you're given predictable objectives to complete to get consistent flow of leads. And it eliminates the fear of all the tech and the fact that it might break down, right? So I'm going to show you specifically all the different parts of this in a few minutes, but I just want you to know that, sure, you could go with that colorful beetle bomb, but you will outgrow it. And how much time will you lose in rebuilding and relearning new software, right? It might keep you going for now, but then what? By trying to go the colorful option, you will be slowing yourself down and missing out on lots and lots of opportunities. Now, I get really fired up about this because I know I've been through it and I've seen many of my clients be through it, where they are just jumping from software to software looking for the next U-Butte thing. So let's focus in on not just the software, but when we recommend software, we don't just know what it can do, we also know what its limitations are, because not every piece of software will do everything that you need. Now, the third biggest mistake that I see people make is discounting prices to get more sales. Now, I'm totally going to get up on my soapbox right now. It's a common misconception amongst many procrastinators and, analysis paralysis people who aren't consistently growing their email list that if they just lower their prices, then they'll get a surge in sales. And this mindset often stems from that hesitation to actually engage in more substantial marketing efforts and a lack of confidence to actually value what it is that they offer. So the better approach is to have a really strong value proposition, right? Communicate these in your offerings, and then strategy. Now, I mean, if you wanted to make $2,000, to sell one program for $2,000 is so much easier than trying to get 40 yeses for a $50 program to get you to the same point. It just is. It's just math. And that being said, I've put a little bit of math together for you in relation to having conversations with people and why having your email list growing constantly so they opt in for something free and then we offer them a call, why this will allow you to scale and grow quicker. So let's say you only get 1 lead a week to book a call, right? You don't have a consistent flow of leads coming in and you feel like you need to discount to get sales coming in. And if you only get 1 sale per week to say, right, you get 1 person coming in, you tell them that your product's worth $2,997 and they say, I can't afford it. So what do? Maybe you discount it to try and get the sale. Who's been there? Have you ever discounted your stuff to get the sale? Now, let's say you have an email list growth machine working in the background and people are booking appointments with you. You're not constantly chasing people. Now, with these 5 leads, now imagine what would happen if you had 5 people who had booked a call with you for the week. So you got 5 people on a waiting list waiting to speak to you to decide if they want to join your program. And let's say that first person says, I can't afford it. Well, it's really easy to say, hey, that's okay. I'll touch base with you in a few months. Let's see where you are then. And so the next person comes in and they're like, not the right time. I'm really busy. I'm pregnant. I have a room to decorate and all the things. It's just not the right time. No worries, right? So then you can say, let's follow up after the pregnancy. And now the next one's like, I'm working, I'm doing all these things. I've got sick parents and I've got young children with disabilities and I'm just too busy right now. No worries. That's okay. Right? We book a follow-up appointment and see where they are in a few months' time. And then we've got another person that week coming in and they love what you've got to offer. She's super keen and she comes straight in and she's like, where do I sign? And cha-ching, you got yourself your first sale. But you know what the other great thing is? You might have got 3 no's to get to that 1 yes, but you've also still got 1 more person waiting to speak to you. And also, knowing that you've got so many people waiting to talk to you, you will feel way more comfortable charging what, and I don't like your worth, charging what your offer's worth, okay? You are invaluable. I should change that word. Okay, so know that the more people on your waiting list that you have, when your email list is growing and they're booking appointments in your calendar, you're less worried about the no. The more people on your waiting list, the less stressed you are about getting people. So I want to ask you, which path do you want to travel? This is really what's going to create massive breakthrough for you, and it did for me. At point A, I was at point A trying to get to my goal, but I didn't have that consistent flow of people to help without working crazy hours. And now you have the choice to jump into one of 3 vehicles to get from point A to point B. So point A, I like to call this the walking stick way, AKA not investing in your business. You're DIYing everything. You're afraid to spend money. You're consuming tons and tons of content, but you're not taking action. So this might be what I call the walking stick way. But for most of us, most of you out there, I'm assuming you're in the car, right? You're working hours, you're busy in your business. You think you're driving towards your destination. Sometimes you see things on the side of the road, these shiny things, and you take a little detour and give that a crack, and you take another detour and chase another shiny thing, or as we like to call it here, shiny object syndrome, right? Who here likes shiny things? Yeah? Making all those things that probably, or spending time on those things that keep distracting us from the road ahead. This is a fatal mistake for so many entrepreneurs, because what happens is you're so close to the ground, you can't see where you're going. You can only see what's right in front of you. So I want you to make a strategic decision that you want to move faster. And I want you to think about this third option, which is the plane, right? In the plane, you will avoid the shiny objects and the distractions. You won't get stuck in the weeds, right? You won't have that walking stick slowing you down. When you're up in the plane, you can look down over where you're going and create a strategy, and you can fly straight there so much easier when you do it with one bridge. Plus, you get to sit on the plane and eat canapes and hang out with the VIPs in first class when everything's going well, right? So which vehicle do you want to be in to get to that next level, right? Do you want to be in A? Do you want to be walking and hoping and praying that somebody else might turn up and do the work? If you don't pay anything, it'll just, you can't sell a secret. You got to get out there and tell people. Or are you going to drive and occasionally get distracted because your head's too close to the ground? Or do you want to be up there in the sky, Come on, baby. Come up to me. Join me up there. Let's have wine and canapes together. We're going to have so much fun flying because you can work smarter on a plane. You can. It may cost you a little more than if you're driving and much more than if you're walking, but I can tell you, you will get there faster with much less time and effort when you set up your systems correctly. So are you ready? Yes? Come on. Don't be shy. Let me know. Get those tippy tap fingers out. So who believes now, after what we've covered today, that you can actually grow your email list without having to work crazy hours, right? If you believe you can grow your email list, right, we've covered a lot here today. I've got so much more to go through with you, but I want to share with you our method, which is the List Growth Made Easy method. Would you like to see it? Everything that we've covered throughout the course creation challenge, throughout all of these live streams that we've been doing with you, have given you the opportunity to, move forward. But if you are ready to really learn the strategy on how to get that amazing thing out there to the world, then let me introduce you to the List Growth Made Easy method. It's part of the Sales and Marketing School, and it involves building, and these are our 3 magical steps to momentum. The first one is build that one bridge, okay? Build that one funnel. But then you cannot stop there, and this is where most people fail, is they build it and go, oh, it didn't work, must be no good. But they've got no evidence. So you must measure what matters. And then optimize, make informed, data-driven decisions on how to grow your list. And then you can go back and you can tweak the build, never having to build from scratch again, just making it a better, stronger bridge. So let's dive into stage 1, which is the build it stage. Now, in the build it stage, a lot of you might find that you don't have a system, and who feels like they're just throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping something sticks, right? You're that hamster on the running wheel. You're very busy, running, right? But you're just not getting anywhere. Well, I want you to get off the hamster wheel and dive into the Sales Marketing School, because I want to share with you the power of one. And this is what we do. We make you focus on one thing. The first thing is what your freebie is to give, who you're going to attract, how you're going to collect the information, how you're going to book, and then selling one offer. So let's dig into this a little more. What you want to do is show people a little sneaky peek at what it is you do, but make sure you give them results. It has to be super valuable content. Pay it forward, I always say, right? You cannot teach them everything in one little freebie. Then what you want to do is stop focusing on trying to attract everybody. Focus on one problem and one client avatar who really needs your help, and fix that one problem or that transformation that they're really looking for. Then you want to capture a lead on a landing page, right? Collect their information so you can get them into that marketing machine. We can nurture them ongoing because we have a rule: no leads, no dead ends inside our automation. So everybody keeps getting looked after. And then on the thank you page, set up a calendar booking system, right? So that you have the opportunity to convert them to a sales call. Or you could potentially do a little tripwire. You're either asking them to give up a little bit of time or a little bit of money to get to know you more. I do truly believe that the sales call is the best option because it's much easier to sell a $2,000 offer on a sales call than it is on a landing page if somebody does not yet know you. Now, when it comes to your marketing efforts, then they want to book a chat with you, right? And this allows you to highly qualify people, and they're no longer cold, but they're considered warm leads. And then you focus on getting really, really good at selling one offer. All roads should lead to the one offer until you've measured and optimized it and you've made it amazing, and you can just flick that little sucker on and off. So that is the build it stage. We need to build the tech and the funnel to get it working, right? So imagine this. What would it be like if your email list is growing in the background and you actually have people knocking at your door and asking for help? That's what happens when you have an automated list building machine. Wouldn't that make your life so much easier? If that's not happening to you on a regular basis every single week, then you need to change what you're doing. If you leave your growth to randomness, you'll always live in the land of mediocrity. And that was from Brendan Bouchard, one of my mentors. You cannot build a successful online business, a coaching program, and a course just by aimlessly working. I'd like to introduce you to one of our clients, Aline. Now, she worked with us for quite some time, and what she had was a business let's go back here, and let's go back that way. She had a business helping people with autoimmune disease, and she was just working one-on-one when we started working together. But once we set up her system and her list growth machine, she was able to transition to her membership program way faster than I remember pushing her, saying, come on, you can do it, Aline. And she's like, I'm not sure if I'm ready. I'm like, just do it. It's on, it's working. And she transitioned to a membership model, which allowed her to serve one to group. And she was so impressed with the systems that we helped her build that after her first year, she went on and signed up to work with us for an additional 3 years. So the systems were working. All right, so let's move into stage number 2, the measure it stage. Now here, if you don't get uncomfortable with measuring numbers, right, then you're not running a business. You are running a hobby. You need to pull your head out of the sand and know that you must measure your numbers. It's just part of business. Let me share a little story with you to kind of drive this on home. You see, there are 2 different people here, 2 gardeners. We both have Alice and we have Jane. Okay, now Alice is a meticulous gardener, right? She researches everything. And then she chooses the best type of vegetables for her soil and for her climate. She plants the seeds and she meticulously tracks everything. She notes how much water each of the plant receives, how many hours of sunlight they get, what their growth rate is, and even which different fertilizers to use to get healthy plants. She uses a journal to record her observations each day, and whatever plants thrive, she puts in her journal and identifies patterns and adjusts the care accordingly. Now, over time, her garden flourishes, full of health, thriving plants, and her careful tracking and adjustments actually helped her create a beautiful harvest. Now, Jane, on the other hand, Jane is more of a casual gardener. You know, she likes to take a more casual approach. She sees these seeds at the local hardware store and she grabs a few and plants them and waters them whenever she remembers. She doesn't keep track of which plants are growing well and why some might be wilting. And then problems start to arise and she's not actually sure how to fix them because she hasn't been paying attention. She doesn't know what conditions each of the plants need. And as a result, her produce is meager, right? a very meager yield, and the plants don't survive to harvest. So, the analogy to this story is Alice, the gardener, is a well-managed email marketing strategy. Just like Alice, if the conditions are right for the growth of her plant, effectively, if your email marketing and you're tracking your metrics, your open rates, your click-throughs, your conversion rates, your page views, your downloads, your calendar views, your calendar bookings, you use this data to make informed decisions on how to nurture and grow that email list effectively. Or if you're Jane, however, right, in reference to marketing, right, without a strategy, without measurement, without tracking, without paying attention to those key metrics, Jane misses out on all the opportunities to improve, optimize, and it leads to poor results. So the moral to this story is, just like a successful gardener needs to track and measure, so do you as a marketer, as a course creator, a coach, an author, a speaker, if you truly want to make a difference. But you are the one that has the power to change. And you have the power in you to go out and transform lives. And it's wrong of you, it is wrong of you not to set up your marketing system the right way from the start. Because think of all those people who are missing out on getting help from you. All right, let's move to the third stage, which is to optimize. Now, in the optimize stage, this is where we start to make real impact. Okay. Now, this is where I want you to start to think about choosing IPAs, being rad in your business, and then thinking about another bridge. And how this works is when you're not working on the right stuff in the right order, you can slow things down. So when we look at this, you want to start to think of what should be your areas of focus. And this is what a lot of people are doing wrong. You see, every area of focus, the first one is innovation. You should be spending 10% of your time on innovation. Now, this is creating new stuff, right? Making a new course, writing a new book. You know, it's all fun. It's all creative. It's all online fun. And the reason why a lot of people spend so much time in innovation is because it's fun, it's easy, and it's comfortable, right? Is that you? How much time do you spend in innovation? You see, the comfort zone is a state in which you feel familiar, safe, at ease, and secure. And you are never going to change your life until you step out of that comfort zone and start to get uncomfortable, right? Okay, so let's have a look at this other stage of focus. So you've got innovation at 10%, and then you have education at 20%. Now, education, again, learning and development, going through courses. But again, how much time are you spending on education? Most people spend quite a lot of time because it's fun, it's easy, and it's comfortable. So, what I would like you to do is stop building new stuff if you're not at your income goal. You still need education, but move that 10% into the middle of the core of your business, because knowledge is power, but knowledge without action is useless. So let's talk about the core of your business. This is where you should be spending 70% of your time. I call this your IPAs, your income producing activities. And your income producing activities are made up of things like lead generation, email marketing, sales calls, follow-up calls, nurturing, right? Being consistent on the things that really matter. the income producing activities. So let's get honest. Where are you spending most of your time? Do you spend 70 to 80% of your time on income producing activities, or are you having a lot of fun in education and making new stuff? Come on, it's okay. Don't be shy. Pop it in the chat. So when we're thinking about, the core of your business, remember, if you focus on the core, it is your fastest path to profit. So let's also talk about being rad. Okay, now we've got this awesome email list growth system set up. You've got bookings coming in. And now it's time to start to get rad in your business. And rad means a system that can help you scale your impact. Choose things that you can do that you can replicate moving forward, or you can save time and automate and delegate also to save you time so that you can spend more time working on what it is that you love to do. I want you to start to think about working smarter, not harder. Okay? And then once you've done that and your funnel is converting and you've measured and you've optimized it, I only want you to add on one new sales or marketing strategy per quarter and get really good at it. Just imagine in 12 months' time, if you focused on one thing every quarter and got really good at it, how amazing would life look in 12 months' time, right? Choose the fastest path to profit. Choose one bridge and only do something new every quarter. Okay, and sometimes even longer. I've gone a whole year with the one thing and we grew to 7 figures. Wouldn't business be great like that? Wouldn't you like a business like that where you're no longer stressing and you've got a team also there to help you along the way? Because when you focus on your IPAs, it is the fastest path to profit. And then you can finally start hiring yourself out of all the things you don't want to do. So I love this quote: efficiency is doing things right. Effectiveness is doing things the right way. Right? Okay, here's another client. This was Erica. She also signed up for a few years with us, but when she originally joined us, she had about 400 people on her email list. And once she implemented our system, she grew to 2,500 emails in 5 months. She got back her initial investment and 12x'd actually her initial investment in only 4 weeks. Just by implementing this system. So if you take one thing away from today, I want you to know that you can grow your email list now without all this tech setup and confusion, and you can do it even while still putting your course and program together. You can. I know you can. So my big question for you now is, how can you apply this method in your own business and create that list growth machine? Do you want to be Penny and keep being busy, procrastinating and chasing shiny balls, driving that Beetle Bomb colorful car? Or are you ready to step up and be Mia, to actually choose to slow down to speed up and fly over with a larger strategy for your business? And it's time for you to stop hoping for success and start taking action to truly make it's successful. You just need to follow the framework and it will take all the guesswork away.